Hi, everyone. My name is Beth Hetcher, and I'm Principal Consultant for Digital Innovation at Ampersand Consulting. Welcome. This video is going to focus a bit around product strategy and how that is one very important component of creating your ultimate product, which is your product organization. Let's take a look, shall we? So, product leaders, product teams, product managers, you have a product mindset that is valuable to both your products and your organization. Apply your hard earned skills to understand how your organization can improve. Figure out ways to identify what your pain points are internally. Decide where you want to focus and make those improvements so that ultimately you will deliver the ultimate product, your product organization, which delivers value over and over for your business. So let's take a moment to think about what is treating your product organization as a product. Well, I'm layering in a maturity model, which is basically like a product roadmap of how you build your product organization from the bottom up and make improvements along the way. Where do you think your organization is today as far as its maturity? How are you treating your product organization as your ultimate product? In this series, I'm going to focus primarily on the walk and crawl stages. That's where I believe is the most opportunity to make improvements and get you to a very stable, very productive place as a product organization. With that, let's take a little focus and look at product strategy. As you can see, there's other dimensions that are really important to treating your organization as the ultimate product. Data is key. How you do your operations is very important. How you structure your team enables a lot of foundational engagements and how you actually get work done. People and culture, how do they think about being a product manager or a product operations leader? Or how do you think about product as a leader yourself? But today, our main focus is around product strategy and how that is a very important element to making your product organization the ultimate product. So, this next slide is just some examples that you may uncover as you're thinking and reflecting on your organization. We're going to look at some crawl and some walk examples. And as I talk through some things, think about where you believe you are. Are you crawling, walking? Maybe you're doing really well. Well, that said, it's always good to take a quick look and just validate that, yes, indeed, you're focused in the right areas. So, one key place that product always has a role is understanding the market. How are you understanding your market and applying that to your roadmaps and aligning it with your business strategy? Speaking of roadmaps, how healthy are they? Do you have a well baked out, reliable roadmap that's flexible that you can, at any point in time, make adjustments and know how you can pivot? If it's more challenging and you find it rocky, then perhaps that's a place to explore as well. So, where are you in terms of longer term or shorter term goals? How flexible and able are you to account for them? How are you really ultimately aligning with your business objectives? These are key places to spend some time reflecting as you go into 2025 or even in your next quarters in the future. There's always an opportunity to find that lever in your team that helps. So, really, from a product strategy place, it's how are you aligning your business objectives to your roadmaps and how healthy is that relationship in your team and in the organization and how well communicated is it? Those are some key factors to consider. So this next slide has a number of different indicators of whether or not your product is mature and really whether or not you're building that ultimate product organization for your company. I just want to call your attention to that upper left where we're looking at the product strategy alignment. As I mentioned previously, the real key pieces is how aligned are you in your goals and also how aligned is your business in the feedback loop to ensure that it's a robust, meaningful, reflective, timely, efficient loop that you have with the rest of the business. As you're probably glancing at this slide, there's a number of other places that we're going to look at in future videos, but I just want to call to your attention the importance of product strategy alignment. That's really telling you where you are now and where you need to be in terms of the business needs. So let's look at perhaps a little more data approach. So I put green stars next to three categories of metrics that I think are really important and tied to your strategy. Of course, there's a lot of metrics you can consider, but these three I think are really good indicators of where you may need to spend some time. The first one, product data and insights. How well are you gathering data about your product, tying that back into your roadmap, and then leveraging that knowledge and insights? Excuse me, got a little bit of itchy thing going on in my nose. It happens, right? Um, let's also think about your innovation pipeline. Do you have a place where those new ideas are being thought about and considered, tied back to the business priorities and determined if those are really appropriate? And then what is your mechanism to get them on your roadmap in the right way and communicate it out to the business and to the stakeholders and ultimately to your users who are probably anxiously awaiting some of the latest and greatest that you have to deliver? Lastly, I would also argue that it's important to think about how are you having checks and balances and how are you making decisions and prioritizing what's really important to be done because product doesn't operate in a vacuum. You also work with sales and marketing and engineering, and there's some operations that are also surrounding getting your product out there to users or to the external markets. So, from that perspective, how well are you doing that cross functional conversations so that everyone is understanding on board of where things are going and how decisions are being aligned in timing? So, I would say that's a very crucial part of your road mapping that would be a good place to dive in and understand how well are you doing this. And keep in mind, just a tip along the way. A lot of these thoughts around your maturity or how ultimately your product organization is being treated as a product, it is subjective. It's based on what you understand and what makes sense for your business. And you may have some metrics that are, a better indicator for you of how things are going. That's great. It's really key is that muscle around reflection, thoughtfulness, and taking that time to be sure that you are honing and making your team more capable and more able, and also supporting them with structure and tools and upskilling and whatever else can help them along the way. So, next, I would love to have this conversation with you and stay in contact. As you see, I've got my LinkedIn profile link here. Feel free to reach out. Would love to have a conversation. Also, here's my email if you'd like to set up some time and talk further about this, or maybe you would just like to take a moment, reflect, and see where you think you are and what some opportunities are. Happy to provide that conversation for you. So, thank you so much for stopping by on the Making Your Product Organization Your Ultimate Product, the Product Strategy Edition.